All right. Oh, see, I see, I see why. What is going on, man? There's two of them, bro. Wow. Anyway, that's probably why this shit was taking so long to load up. But anyway, you know what? You know what? You know what's so crazy about this whole game industry thing? Wait, first, let me find where's the main braid at? Is this it? Okay, here it is. Yeah. It's like I remember when we was all growing up playing video games and shit. It was just like it wasn't a big deal. You know what I mean? You just played the game that you liked, and then you played it, you rocked out with it, and that was the end of it. It wasn't like, wait a minute, this is kind of odd, man. What's going on? Oh, anyway, yeah, we just played the game, and if we liked the game, we bought it. Our parents bought it, and then we played it, and we just had fun with it. Now you got like these dudes on YouTube going back to like our games that we played as kids, like the Street Fighters, the Mortal Kombats, and everything. And now it's like this whole scrutiny type shit. It's like nitpicking every little thing now, and it's just kind of like almost like not a I would say kind of like a buzzkill to a certain degree, because it's like this one dude's video I was looking at. He was talking about how what is it, Capcom versus SNK. He was talking about the game and talking about like Morgan's character design was like not right. um like he was just going on about like the backgrounds from like what was it called, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and then some sprites was ported over to um Capcom versus SNK. Just little nitpicky shit like that. Like I remember me and my friend, like we played the game on Dreamcast, and we just had fun with the shit. It wasn't like it was a problem. But now all these some odd years later, now the dude is now you look at the video in a whole, like you're looking at the game in a whole different light. And I understand they're trying to be like, get clicks and, but it's just like, dude, it just basically kind of ruins the whole experience. I mean, like I don't have to watch the video, but I mean, it's just like looking at the video, like, oh yeah, I remember this, but then like watching it, and it's just like he's just basically like showing all the flaws that nobody's seen before, and it's like it's just fucked up. It's just fucked up. You know what I mean? And the game. Oh, okay. I see what I need to do. The game was cool. I mean, it had its problems, but it's just like it is what it is. But then it'd be like these same dudes. Yeah, it'd be like these same dudes You let them make a game and see what the deal is. You know what I mean? Cause the shit is ridiculous. I mean, it doesn't necessarily bother me that he's talking about the shit, but it's just kind of like you're going back nitpicking classic shit. That's the problem I have with it. You just going back fucking up the classics. Cause I mean, even like Morgan character design was like, looking back at it, yes, her character model was different from all the rest of the characters, but again, nobody cared though. See, and then it's like the dude, like the shit that the dude is nitpicking, nobody cared about anything. Like the music, the soundtrack to Capcom vs. SNK 1, like the first one, that was the shit. Even some parts on part 2 was cool. But like I said again, nobody's caring about none of the stuff that he's talking about. Like, I mean, even though he's saying like what critics said, but then you got to think about it like this. And I said this before in some like past video. When we played games, there was no Metacritic, or there was no, like, they were like game magazines, but nobody bought them for the interviews. Like, not the interviews, but the reviews of the shit. Nobody bought them shits for that. People bought the shit for the game itself and the pictures and just to look at the shit. Like, that was it. Nobody cared what this reviewer had to say about like Mario 2. Nobody cared. Nobody gave a shit about that. It was like, oh, Mario's coming out with a new game. People bought it. People played it. And that was the end of it. Now all these critics and these game reviewers are making a big deal about basically nothing. And that's kind of like, that's how, like I said, we had the Nintendo Power magazine. We had that shit. Like, I think I had a subscription to that one at one time. And I remember like our friend Nick, he used to get the magazine, and he used to see, cause Nick always thought he was like, I don't know if he just had this air of superiority. Because it was like he always had the Japanese shit before we did. Like, we didn't know about, cause I think it was like Game Inform, I think, used to do this shit. And it was like, in the back of the magazine, you had to fill out this form, because it had like toys and like import toys, like Final Fantasy VII. They had like Cloud, Sephiroth, like a Gundam or some shit. And you fill out the money order, you know, you do what you got to do, and you send it off to the mail. And then I guess like 3 weeks or however long it takes to come back, then you'll get the item. And I remember me and another friend, me and Joshua, we used to be like, oh, like, cause I remember Nick got the box set of Final Fantasy VII. It came with like Cloud, Tifa Barrett, Aerith, and I think that was it. But then he had Sephiroth, because Sephiroth didn't come with the thing. He was his own special dude. And I remember me and Joshua was like, damn, where'd you get this? And he was like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just thought he was the shit. Just like, oh, I got this from Game Informer or some shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what we used the whole thing for. It wasn't like, let me read Nutsack John's review on Final Fantasy VII. It was like, fuck Nutsack John. Like, we didn't care. We just looked at the pictures. It looked good to us. We bought it. That's how the shit was. Nobody cared what these dudes had to say. But now you got, not only you got the like the reviewers, but then you got dudes on YouTube talking shit. And it's just like everybody has their own opinion. It's just like pulling you in so many directions. Like, I could see people having a hard time making their own informed decision. Like, not me, because I don't listen to them anyway to give a shit about what they gotta say. You know what I mean? But I did, truth be told, fall for some reviewers though. I did fall for maybe one. And I was like, and then I didn't really fall for it. It was Red Dead Redemption, but I was going to end up buying it anyway, but I regret buying it though. But for the most part, it's just like, I don't be listening to these dudes' reviews. Because they nitpick too much. Because I mean, just look at the reviews about one game that came out in December. I mean, the hype with that game was through the roof. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the shit was through the roof. And then look what happened to it. So that's technically why but me personally, I was going to buy that game anyway. Because I like the genre. But then after playing it and how fucked up it was like, but I got my money back though. You know what I mean? So I didn't technically lose anything. But I should copy this. No, fuck it. No, never mind. Anyway. But yeah, like I said, these dudes on YouTube, like I said, there's nothing wrong with this guy's. It is something wrong with this dude's video, cause it's just like I said, he's bringing up stupid shit like about the motherfucking background and everything. Like if it was 2D, 3D. It was a 2D, 3D thing. Like, okay, man. Like, again, at the time of playing the game, back in whenever it came out, 96, 97 or something like that, again, nobody cared. Like, I remember playing we played all the Marvel, where we played the X-Men vs. Street Fighters, the Capcom vs. Marvels, and the SNK versus Capcom and SVC Chaos. And nobody complained about the backgrounds. Like it was like a bad thing. Like, oh, look at this 3D. Like, they shouldn't have done this. Blah, 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 blah. Nobody cared. People played it. We had fun. The ones that everybody played with, like in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, was Iron Man, Cable, Cyclops. You picked those three and you had the beam. Like, you shot a beam and it was like 121 hit combo or some shit like that. You know, that's what we cared about. Like, I like looking at the backgrounds because, I mean, I'm an artist and everything, but I never complained about the background themselves being like weird and out of place. And that's, like I said, that's what's wrong with these dudes, man. That's what's wrong with them. I don't know what the deal is with these dudes. But that's just how the cookie crumbles. Cause it just like you be listening to these dudes and it just seem like they just trying to be smarter than everybody and just be like, oh, I'm some journalist and everything. It's like, no, you ain't, bro. You basically just on the internet and just like, that's like me looking up Castlevania and just making a whole video on the history of Castlevania. Like, and it's just like this one thing. I was thinking about this like a couple of days ago. It was like this dude, and he was talking about Detroit Become Human. Now, me personally, Detroit Become Human was the first narrative game that I played. And because I saw Jesse Williams, like he was in it, I was like, oh shit, that's dude from Grey's Anatomy. I watch Grey's Anatomy, I watch Grey's Anatomy, so I'm like, okay, like he's cool, let me play it. And then, like getting into the game, I was like, this shit is cool. And I saw what the deal was with the game. It's basically talking about race relationships. And so I just played the game. But then I'm watching this dude's video like years later, like basically now, because I had it when it came out. So I'm watching this dude's video. I got to the end. And it just felt like he was just nitpicking the shit. Just small little shit. It's just like going to Pizza Hut. And, you order your pizza, whatever the pizza is. But then you're nitpicking about the cheese, talking about the cheese is modern cheese and not cheese from 1761. And it's like it has this flair of post-modern capitalism mixed with an air of Socrates. You'd be like, motherfucker, what are you talking about? Like it's just like you're just trying to sound unorthodox. You're just trying to sound like a philosopher and like you know what you're talking about. Like, stop, dude. It just comes off, I don't know what it comes off, precocious or some shit. It just comes off bad. Like, just enjoy the fucking pizza and shut the fuck up. It's not like the cheese was moldy and they got the cheese from the alley somewhere and it's just been sitting there for like 10 years. I could understand if your cheese was like that, but if the cheese, even if they changed the ingredient up a little bit, I mean, it may not taste the same like how you remember it, or it may taste better. But don't make like motherfucking hour-long videos just nitpicking about the fucking cheese. And then just trying to act like, oh man, I've heard too many people do this shit. Like this one guy, he got like a wolf logo in his shit, and he was just, and how he has this breathy tone in his voice. Like it's just y'all some weirdos, man. Y'all just some fucking weirdos, bro. Cause it just comes off that you're trying too hard. You're trying too hard to act like you know what you're talking about. Wait a minute. She's wait. Yeah, but like I said, you just come off to acting like you just know what you're talking about. How, like I said, the dude he'll say like the art style reminds me of like when my childhood, and he has like this British accent or something like that, and it has this warm, glowing feeling like when you're close to the sun, but not like Icarus, so your wings will melt, but it just has this subtle hue of warmness glowing over you. But like, man, stop, bro, shut up. Like it's like he is wasting time even saying that shit. It, like I said, it's just ridiculous. It's just weird and ridiculous. I mean, 100% weird. Wait a minute. Well, I need to find. Where am I at with this? 9. What? What? I can't even find. Wait a minute. I can't even find these. I knew something was off with this. I can't even find the rest of them. Oh, wow. Okay, fine then. But yeah, like I said, these dudes are just too much and they need to shut the fuck up. I don't even know why people, to be honest, I really don't even know why people be... No, I can't say that. I do know why people... No, not really. Cause sometimes these dudes be steering you in the wrong direction and shit. Cause it'd be like, that's somebody else's opinion about whatever the game is, and not your own. It's like they're steering you into this like bad direction and shit. And it's not like how you feel about this game. Like that one game, I don't know the name of the game. And it's like this girl, and she got like this like staff, and it got like this diamond or something on the top. Now the game to me looks fun. I'm not gonna be looking at the critics to be like informing my decision if the game is good or not. It's just like, if I think it looks cool, then I'm buying it. And just accept the game for what it is. Cause like I said, these critics said one game was cool, but then I mean, look what happened to that shit in December. I mean, people was hyped, and the game completely disappointed everybody. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit up there and be like, you know, that everybody's credibility is shot because of like one game. But at the same time, though, there's, like I said, they're informing your decision instead of you doing the shit yourself. So that's why I don't be listening to these critics, and that's why I should really stop listening to these videos. Cause I was like, what was I playing a few seconds ago before I started this shit? I was playing what? Not Dying Light. I don't play that shit. First Light, infamous, what, Second Son or some shit. I mean, the game was cool. I got no problems. The only problem that I have, and it's not even like a real problem, but it's just like I wish it was a bigger open world than what it was. But since this is the game came out in 2014, I mean, they did what they did for the game. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you don't see too many open world games in other like cities like Seattle or some shit. You know what I mean? Like it's rather in New York or LA, and then maybe in Chicago. But being in San Francisco, that seems like a cool city. You know what I mean? Like, I wish it was just bigger. But other than that, the game was cool. I got no complaints about it. The game was cool. So, but now if you got a nutsack now making a YouTube video, he be nitpicking about everything. Okay. Oh boy. Oh. I'm saving this. This file that I'm working on now has gotten too big. It has gotten too big. And I was kind of worried. Because I noticed like a file being too big, if the camera can't rotate quick, then it's lagging. Then that means the shit is too big. It's cool, but it's just getting too cluttered. And so now I'm kind of thinking like, damn, I might have to change, like, save it on another thing. But as of now, it's alright. And then she got enough braids, but her younger sister, she had too many. And it took at least, I don't even know how many minutes. It just took longer than usual to convert all the braids over. And so now I'm kind of skeptical, like, oh shit, is it going to happen here again? See, so I'm just kind of like worried. I'm just worried. And then I don't know why every time this you change the bevel, you gotta change the count all the time. I mean the depth, the depth of the bevel. You gotta keep going back. Like, dude, I set it in that position. Cause I remember when I first did the shit, I was like, okay, cool. But I didn't catch that it did that at first. And then it fucked me up. It was like the braid was floating in the air. I was like, hell no, bro. What is this? And then I had to catch. Like, I had to catch what the deal was. I don't think it happens to everybody's system. But I think it happens though enough. I'm not sure because I don't know how everybody else's shit is. But I know for me, this shit is annoying. Because it's like I almost have to do the same thing over again. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, bruh. And then I gotta get in and see, and this is the type of thing, like talking and recording myself doing this shit. It's just like it's not cool, but at the same time, I did it enough times to kind of just. It's like muscle memory or something at this point. You know, because I'm just going back to the modify account. You know, the numbers, going to this, going to the object property, 0, go back to the modifier. You know what I mean? But the tricky part is after this. All the tricky part is after this. Okay, yeah, the tricky part is after this, because I always, like near the end, I'll be like, well, how do you do this shit again? But it's, what is it? You select all of them. You got to be careful not to select nothing else. Select all. And make sure you're selecting all of them, not like the character themselves or anything else. And trying to find that space. See? Go back. Because that was the actual curve I selected. See, just as I said, this takes concentration and shit. Is that all of them? Yeah, that's all of them. Select all of them, then you're gonna convert this shit to a mesh from curve. Then you're going to Control J, make them all one. And you're gonna go to H hairnet, omit hair on self. Now I don't know, because like I said, this file is pretty large. Now all I have to do is press add hair from fibers. It's gonna take a while, but hopefully it don't crash my shit. But that was it. I mean, it's supposed to do what it's supposed to do. And it's gonna take a while. So I'm not even gonna touch nothing. I'm gonna just let it do what it has to do. But anyway, in the meantime, it's just like, yeah, like I said, when we used to play games, we just played games and just rocked with it. You know what I mean? Like Streets of Rage. them type of games. Like, I guarantee you there's some nutsack on YouTube that made this weird history about, like, you know, and then it's like they try to put too much extras on the shit. It's just like Mr. X in Streets of Rage. He tried to take over the city. He was a crime boss. He had a crime syndicate. He tried to take over the city. And I think Skate's brother, Paul, in the first one was a cop. And I'm pretty sure he tried to like take him down or something. But at the time, as a kid in 92, you know, Mr. X just tried to take over the city. You picked your character. I'll always pick Blaze. And you beat the boss. That was it. Now people be trying to put too much on it. Like, you know, he was a drug lord and he had like a property in Venezuela that he was running a sex trafficking ring. Like, motherfucker, where you getting all this from? And then it'd be like, there was an article back in 93 that said, it'd be like, oh, like, nobody was paying attention to that shit. It was just, he was just a boss. He was a crime boss and you gotta beat the dude. Like, damn. Like, you just trying to make it seem like this is like Narcos or some shit. Like, just let the shit go. Just let the shit be what it was supposed to be. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Now what's the next thing? See, and then my ass did something fucked up the last time when I was working on Ivy's braids. I ended up deleting the curve that her shit went to, which is a bad move. That is a bad move. Now I'm trying to, okay, it's right here. Yeah, I ended up deleting the curves to that. Don't do that shit. But then a couple days ago, I had to redo. She only had 2 braids that went to the side. It wasn't like this many. So it was just like, whatever. But no, never delete that shit. Like these black lines, never delete them shits. Because that shit is fucked up. Because then if you mess up, or if you feel like something wasn't right, then you gotta do the shit all over again. Like doing the curve of the braid, like the direction they're supposed to go. So never do that shit. Never delete these black lines. I mean, you could keep them, you could hide them, but just never delete them shits. Because that will not be cool. And see, her original hairstyle was like this. But now with the braids, I have to hide the side. So it could be like that. But I mean, that's pretty much it. And you know what I never see in people's 3D like objects, like their images when they do 3D shit, they never do the edges, the baby hairs, quote unquote. Like they never do. It's always like that. Like everybody got bald headed edges. Like they never do that shit. But I was like, you know what? I'ma do that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even though you can't. Wait, let me see. See, nobody ever pulls this off. But I was like, fuck it, I am. Cause I mean, these dudes who be making this shit, like, I'm gonna be real, man. I'm gonna be real. Like when you see people doing this shit, they be Asians or they be white people. They're not thinking about edges like that. You know what I'm saying? And since she's like, this is my daughter, she's biracial, so it's like she's gonna have you know what I'm saying? It's like a cultural thing that these game developers overlook. There's no shade to them. I ain't saying nothing like bad about them, but it's just like I noticed nobody ever does that. So I'm like, oh, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like I seen one dude. I don't know who he is, but he's tight though. But he has a like a robotic voice, and he was doing this character, and he did the peach fuzz on the chick's face, and I was like, damn, you know what I mean? That's the closest, you know. But like a woman, you mostly see it in women are going to be having like baby hairs and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nobody ever did that shit. And then when I get the chance, I'm gonna put the bow in her hair. You know what I mean? But I'm going to save this. I'm definitely going to save this. And then I'm moving her braids into the collection. Now where did they go? Oh. Yep. But anyway, I'm done. I'm out of here. Money over stink holes.